not going to work well. So, maybe all of them stop being dickheads might be a better option there. And then Tyler Casfan said, another win chalked off. I felt we were in control for most of the game. Salford's discipline let them down, or it could have been closer. Sad to see Eden get injured, but we can cope. Yeah, I agree with what everyone said. I didn't find this game particularly great to watch. It was a bit better than the game on Thursday night, but the penalties slowed it down. The injuries were a bit of a downer, and it sort of felt like Castleford could score whenever they got in range, and it sort of felt like Salford were going to let them get in range a lot. So that was how this one went, and the second half blowout from an 18-10 to a 38-14 just shows, the last half an hour was all Castleford's, and you can't do that in a game against a top side, Salford, if you want to be winning trophies. So fingers crossed they keep that habit for another couple of weeks. On the stats, there was plenty of breaks in the game, despite under 2,000 metres in total, which doesn't come very often. That's and a combined low of 6 metres per carry average gain across the two sides. So that's not very dynamic running, suggesting intense or quick line speed there in defence, though, from both. Cass edged the total metres and clean breaks. Salford edged metres per carry and offloads. Cass's 14-10 error count loss was more than evened out by Salford's 13-4 penalty count loss. So it was Salford's discipline. Even the numbers underline that it was Salford's discipline that really let them down in this game. Individually, Mike McMinican had 5 tackle busts and 118 metres in the second row. The best metre getter for the Tigers. Michael Shenton had 4 try assists. Joel Monaghan and Greg Eden both had 2 tries. And Ben Roberts had a try and 2 clean breaks. So not setting the stat sheet alight there. Kind of goes with the overall counts being quite low on things. Jake Bibby for Salford had a try, 117 metres and 2 clean breaks. And Nia Levels, whilst targeted a bit in defence, had 109 metres. Both those two doing well in attack, better than they did maybe the other way around. Ryan Lannon 45 tackles, well as Haraki 46 tackles. Both worked hard. On to probably the most, in the end, significant game of this weekend's fixtures. It was Huddersfield 26, Lee Centurions 4 in front of 5,535, with Scott Michalauskas holding the whistle. And we just had the one review in on this one, and it was Mark W, who said, "Not the best game I've seen, but 2 points we very much needed. Giants' defence was fantastic throughout and showed some real promise in attack. Lee's attack was awful, but to their credit, they defended well at times when they weren't giving away cheap penalties. Looking forward to having Ridyard, Turner and Bruno back for the 8s. Think we'll have some interesting games ahead." Bruno is Michael Lawrence, I think. And yeah, I think that would round off the pack, because with Vicar Hifo back in the side and Takuma Tai scoring a try in this one, they're looking very strong. It's not out of the realms of possibility that they can get in the top 4. It's going to be difficult for them and Wigan, but they're playing some good stuff, and they beat a very poor team as well as they needed to, I suppose, in this one. The tries on the highlights suggest that Huddersfield were able to score in a few different types of ways, and Lee got a very lucky try, and that was about it. So that echoes what Mark has told us about the game. On the stats, they also say the same sort of thing. Lee couldn't manage any breaks in this game. Huddersfield had 4 and 306 more metres at a better average gain too. They also made 24 fewer missed tackles for a 5% better team tackle success. Errors were even at 12 each, as was the high, looking at 11-11 penalty count. So falling off tackles and not being able to create was Lee's downfall. Our good... The person we've been bigging up quite a lot recently, Ben Reynolds, didn't play for Lee in this one, so that's obviously a miss for them there. Who would have been thinking that when we kicked off back in February? Okay, so maybe the most contentious game of the round was at Headingley on Friday night. It was Leeds 10, Hull FC 7 after a 7-0 half-time scoreline for the visitors in front of a huge 16,938, with Robert Hicks controlling the whistle, but not necessarily the players, I'm not sure. Rich Wilkinson said, "Now then, lads, what an experience for the last time in the South Stand. After 34 years visiting the old girl, I'm pretty emotional. Not the best from Leeds, but our defence was solid. A win is a win. I have to say the codheads on that showing are fucking shit. Sneyd is garbage. I hope they're us poor in a few weeks. A depleted Leeds side got the job done. Looks like the end for Galloway." Yeah, serious injury for Galloway. He's done his other cruciate, the different one to what he did last week, I think. Last year, if I'm right. But he's certainly out for the season, and sad news for him. Rich, I think you need to be careful with how forceful you are on some of your comments, because they could come back to bite you with a repeat fixture so close. But lovely to have you over in the country, and I'll hope to see you before the game on Friday at the DW. Dr. Bob Phillips said, "Since the Rhinos decided to put every important match on while I was working, I caught this game on Twitter, highlights and the radio. Confirmed to me that Walker is good. Kind Horse has made a cracking return. I don't know what he's on about. And Hall is a man of rippling steel, and we were lucky." Yeah, 2 late tries chalked off that I'm sure we're going to get to when we get some Hull fans involved, like Joshua's granddad at John Scott 15. He said, "Would like to see the 2 disallowed tries again, but only ourselves to blame. Still lack of discipline costing us. Should have done better to punish Leeds short of players due to injury. Had to rely on our great goal line defence once more to keep the score close." Yeah, I'm sure everyone's seen the Mahe Fanua hit on the Kind Horse in the first half of this game. That was one of the most emphatic hits you will see this season. Okay, so then Mitchell Darts. "Moon's kick and Walker's read of it to score was brilliant. The last 20 or so looked like Hull were definitely going to win it, but some good scramble and Hull errors kept us getting the 2 points." And then Sarah, Joshua's mother, she doesn't call herself, but she is, said, "As bad as the officials were, mainly the touch judge, Hull need to respect the ball and do the basics. Our goal line defence was once again superb, but that's no use if you can't complete sets. Completion better than against Saints, but only marginally. Griffin's best game for us so far. He and Fanua linked up well and made some big yards and tackles. Hopefully we're just lulling Leeds into a false sense of security ahead of the semi." Yeah, I haven't seen the Griffin disallowed try, but reportedly it was a forward pass there. The Fanua one, the Sky replays don't really show much, and not too many of the crowd reacted to it either, so I'm not sure what that tells me, but there's every chance he didn't get it down in the field of play from the replays, from the inconclusive replays, so I would not go too harshly on the referees for that one, but I don't know about the rest of the game, but it does seem like it was a backs to the wall affair, but quite an exciting one for both sides, so the semi-final will be one to look forward to. On the stats, a huge 37 errors dished up by the 2 teams. Hull on the wrong end of that stat, 20-17. They also lost out on the penalty count 7-5. Those things may help explain the loss, as they had slightly less metres and quite a few less carries. Errors and penalties contributing to not having less ball, I would suspect. But they made ground at 1.5 metres per carry, better average gain, a big 8.3 metres per carry for them in this one. That's massive. 8 breaks to 2 as well, so they should have capitalised, but obviously their own mistakes prevented them from doing so. Individually, from the winning Rhino side, Ryan Hall, he's had googly-eyed mention from Dr. Bob. He had a try, 5 tackle busts, 166 metres. Mitch Garbutt had 7 tackle busts and 165 metres. Adam Cuthbertson with 139 metres and 9 successful offloads. Carl Ablett had a try assist and 113 metres. Jamie Jones-Buchanan, 46 tackles. On the losing Hull FC side, Danny Houghton did what Danny Houghton does. 58 tackles, 11 marker tackles. Liam Watts wanted to get up there as well this week. 41 tackles, 10 marker tackles, 107 metres, 4 successful offloads. So when he's being disciplined, it proves that he's being a good player. Mahe Fanua, 193 metres and 4 successful offloads. That's going to be a lot to replace next year. And for Tuli Talanoa, 155 metres. Jamie Shaw, 7 tackle busts, 147 metres, 2 clean breaks. On to the final Friday night game then, where it was Widnes 8, Wakefield 36. I don't have the attendance for this one, I'm afraid. But Chris Kendall was the referee, I do know that much. And Neil McEwen got in touch. He said, listened on the radio tonight, it sounded like Widnes went into self-destruct mode, knocking on, passing it into touch and holding down in the tackle. Always thought Betts should be given more time as he's working on a small budget, but it's time for Dennis to go, as players are not performing for you. Don't let the door hit your arse on the way out. Andrew Henderson from London would be my man. Paul O'Brien, POB 1976, said, awful, poor ball control, awful passing, teams don't look interested, no idea in attack, I could go on. It's the same rubbish each week, and the team and coaching staff need to take a long, hard look at themselves. I really fear for us at the moment, but we'll keep the faith, Widnes till I die. And Paul Ludo Lewis says, as rugby league is a family game, I thought I'd send in a PG review of the Widnes performance. The whole team were poo. No fudging effort, and the discipline smelt of wee-wee. Dennis Betts is a stinky head, and now that we have most of the first team back, he can no longer say that their dads were bigger than our dads. Not looking forward to the middle eights. That was very Widnes-based from the fans, and obviously they're suffering. So I'm going to flip this over and talk about the Wakefield tries and how fast and incisive and impressive they looked in this game, and jumping into the top four, whilst the whole team maybe didn't contribute massively on the stats and I didn't see much more than the highlights, certainly see that left edge of theirs was absolutely outstanding, and when we get to the stats we'll see that, and it's a real group effort as well, because they've got, when everyone's fit, they've got a bit of depth. When everyone isn't fit, you would be questioning. But they maybe only have two people for every position. But as long as they've got one of those two people playing, the way the coach has got them geared up at the moment, and the confidence in the systems at Wakefield are really impressive to see. So I think Chris Chester will get my nod for Coach of the Year right now, and there's a few really strong contenders for that award. Stats-wise, Widnes made ground at 1 metres per carry, better average game for an impressive 8.5 metres per carry. So when they did have the ball, they did quite well in making metres. That's all the good there is, though, to mention for Widnes. Wakey made 274 more metres, 42 more tackle busts, 10 more clean breaks, 8 more offloads, 6 fewer errors. For Wakefield, Bill Super had 2 tries, 2 try assists, 8 tackle busts, 245 metres, 4 clean breaks. Mason Caton Brown had 2 tries, 1 try assist, 183 metres, 3 clean breaks. And Tinarawa Rona had a rare try for Bright Eyes, and 108 metres. Hep Cahill had 112 metres. Matt Whitley had 45 tackles, 13 of which were marker tackles. Ryan Ince with 103 metres. Corey Thompson, 113 metres. Then the final game of the round, which I don't know very much about because I was at Swinton this afternoon and I haven't had a chance to see any highlights or get any stats or anything on St Helens 46, Catalan 28, refereed by Ben Thaler. I don't know the crowd score, I'm afraid. We have Malcolm Matios getting in touch saying Remain gets to go home at last, and he's sent right back to Lancs. Poor sod, it's abuse. And then a more rounded review came from St David. He said, an average team beats a very average team. He's on that theme still, that's good. Saints' nobly tight defence was repeatedly broken by Catalan's offload and quick play of the ball in the first half. Nevertheless, we should have led by more than 2 after Percival butchered a walk-in with men either side. Ran away with it at the end, and a couple of nice tries, particularly Morgan after great play by Farge and Roby. Need to be a lot better to beat Wakey away. Because it was 2018 at half time, and Catalans actually took the lead after 50 minutes. So St Helens put on a late show here against the Dragons, and the Dragons fell to a late show for the second successive week, which is obviously it shows that there's some things that McNamara are starting to get worked on, but there's a lot still to improve there for them. Standings, all that means that Cass and Leeds stay the top 2. It's all to play for with the 3 places below. Salford and Wakefield on 26 points, Hull FC on 25. All 4 are competing for the top 4 extra home game in the Super 8s. Hull host Huddersfield, Salford travel to Leigh, and Wakefield host St Helens next week. So on paper, Salford have the easiest fixture, and it will be interesting to see what happens. Saints could steal 5th, that's as high as they can go. Huddersfield and Wigan are likely to end the year in 7th and 8th. Warrington and Catalan will be 9th and 10th. An extra home qualifier awaits for those guys. Widnes and Lee will finish in 11th and 12th, but they could yet swap places. I haven't got the Super Brew up yet, or the Dream Team, I'm afraid. But on predictions, me and Tom both went 6 out of 7. And obviously, with no show from Tom, we will not have any more predictions this week. So I'm just going to give myself a 6-0 win on it for now.